Hello, 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 hello. Hi, my name is London, and I recently sent in my resignation letter to quit my job as a fashion marketer. Let's get into the reasons why. Okay, so if you do not know me, my name is London, and I was previously working as a fashion marketer for a global fashion brand or global fashion company located here in Ghana. My role or my task as a fashion marketer for the brand was just basically everything marketing. I was doing content creation, social media management. I was designing graphics as well for the brand, which was a good learning experience for me, in a sense where, I do have the skill in video editing, content creation, graphic designs, but because I was working in that space, I got to practice it some more. I wasn't sitting down to wait for a client to actually reach out to me to do these things, but now I was actually doing them on the daily because they were demanding from the brand or the company that I was working for. Did I love the job? Well, I'm just going to be very, very honest with you. I really, really love this job. I really, from the bottom of my heart, love this job because this job of mine happens to be a kind of like a dream come true job for me because for this global fashion company, they were one that stood out here in Ghana for me. And I so badly wanted to be affiliated with them or get to be or do something with the brand. So when I received my email that I have been chosen to be an employee of the company, I was so excited. I was just the excitement was beyond everything. I remember calling my manager and telling him that, oh my God, hey Tara, I actually got the job. And he was so excited for me. And he also said one thing that always put this type of belief in my spirit. He was like, I know you can do it. And I know it because it's you. They chose you because it's you. You stand out amongst the lot. So yeah, you actually deserve the job. And when he said that, I was like, oh, wow. Because I pretty much did not believe that I was going to be chosen because I knew for a fact that this brand is so global. And I knew the number of people that were going to send in their CVs, cover letters, portfolio, that jazz. When you're looking for a job, people would try to prove a point as to why the company or brand should employ them. And I pretty much didn't do too much. Sent in my letter, I added my portfolio because I was trying to let the brand see that, okay, I have an experience when it comes to content creation because that was what they put out there. And so getting the job was oh, whoa, I actually did get it. Another reason I also did love my job was that it kind of instilled a sense of extra confidence in me. Yes, I know I am confident to some extent, but not to all extents in terms of my fashion. I know I have found my voice in terms of fashion and I'm still trying to explore other side, but sometimes because I am not the stereotypical type of guy, when it comes to my style, I am always overthinking things because I think if I put on, let's say, a very fitted top which is cropped, the society I'm from, which is Ghana, people would kind of tag you in a certain way. Well, I don't really care about the tag, but I just feel if I haven't put a label on me, I do not expect you to put a label on me, sort of. And so it was always hard for me to live in my truth or live to explore my style in fashion. So I was always holding back to certain things, and working in this fashion company gave me room to explore my closet some more because I would always see every week come by and I would just go wild in terms of how I'm going to look for work. Oh my God, I feel I want to wear this heel boots of mine with this white leg pants, and I think I need to wear this. Oh, I think I need to pair it up with this jacket. It gave me that form of exploration. And I did love that for me as a person. And that's one thing I owe it to my job because if it wasn't for my job, I don't think I would have explored my closets enough. I had clothes or I have clothes and I'll just see them sitting in wherever they were sitting at, guys. I'll see the clothes sitting wherever they're sitting at and I'll just be I don't feel like going out. I don't feel like doing this. But because I knew I had to go to work literally all the time, and because I knew I was also working in the fashion industry, I always needed to show up looking good, so clean, looking so fly. And because of my job too, I had this level of defense where if I felt like wearing anything, I would attribute it to the fact that I was actually I'm actually working in the fashion industry, and so you have to understand. I remember one time I turned up the buttons of my shirt, my white shirt, and did it in a different way. I don't know if I find a video, I'm gonna put it up there. I'm gonna put it up here. And I did that, and then I just had people like go like, oh, wow, this is actually so good. And because I worked in fashion, it was easier for people to embrace that side. I don't know, but like if I wasn't working in fashion, trust me, these people would have slaughtered my head. But yeah, because I was working in fashion, people just understood that, yeah, it's just fashion. Like anything he's wearing, it's because of fashion. And that's one thing I owe to my job. Like basically, yeah, my job gave me room to explore my closet. Now let's move on to the reason why I quit the job. The reason why I quit the job is basically, do I really want to go into detail? I mean, let me grab a tea, okay? And we're gonna go into detail. Okay, so I'm back, okay? So now let's get into the detail why I quit my job. I'm going to break it down into like 3 things for 3 reasons. I think that would make more sense. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Okay, let me just make it 3. So I quit my job based off on 3 things. 1 is personal, 2, family, 3, I would call it space and future. How do I even say this? So first off, with family, I would not be able to go into details because it's more about my family, and my family is also not a subject that I really want to put out. I wouldn't say again, but I would not want to put it out that much. So something happened in my family, and it put a certain pressure and load on me. So I was like, I can't juggle this. I'm trying to find a word for it. I can't juggle, let me call it accidents. I can't juggle my job with this accident because it will be too much for me to bear. And for a fact that I was also working in marketing, because like the brand relies so much on me. Not like me entirely, but like everybody who is working in marketing, like the brand relies on you because you're also the voice of the company, especially what we're putting out to social media. And I had support, yes, because I also had a marketing lead who was also helping carry out these tasks. But like I could not juggle for the life of me what was going on in my family and work. In the beginning, I just wanted to pause or like take a break. Pay my contract, I can't ask for a leave until after 1 year. And so I was like, oh, what's the best alternative? I tried as much as possible to see if I could manage what was going on at home, but I couldn't. I kept thinking about it thoroughly before making the decision of quitting my job. So the second thing would have to be space. So as of the time I found myself working in this company, I was working hybrid. I had 2 times off, 3 times in. So it also gave me that room to, I wouldn't call it recuperate, but it gave me room to always like get back into my creative head, because I have come to believe that I'm a full-time creator. Being in one space or being in a particular place for the longest like chokes me. Like I would need breaks. I would need like a different zone just so that my brain can feel like, oh, this a new space, and capture some new inspirations and new ideas. But I found myself now always being in the office from Monday to Friday, and it was too much for me. I didn't also see that as a strong reason, because for whatever reason why I needed to now come to work almost every single day was valid. That reason was so valid, so I understood it. So that point was not as a strong point for me to actually say quit. So I still stayed, but I was still dreading my decisions of why I'm still staying in that company. And now the next reason, which basically would be the last reason, was more personal. It's more personal and like future driven. I kept asking myself so many things. So when I was working, at a point, I wasn't getting room to put up my creative work as much, because it's like I was like focused on working for the company I'm working for. So I didn't have room, because if I would go to work from Monday to Friday, I only have Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes Saturdays, I needed to do another job because I had another job at that time. Oh God, I'm sweating. Sundays, I had church. That's if I would only go. I had church, but then if I wouldn't go, I would have to now mentally prepare myself for Monday. So it's like I didn't have time for myself. And I also felt like I wasn't putting out content for myself, or content that I really wanted to. I wish I could, but I wasn't getting that time, that room to do that. And at a point, I just saw my account losing its engagement, and so I was like, what do I really want for myself? The fashion industry is a place I love fashion, and so I didn't mind being there. But the thing about it is that because I was just working in fashion, it felt very, I'm trying to say, not use the word is not monotonous, it's very mono. It was just an industry, so every creation, every thought process had to be tied around fashion, as compared to if I wasn't working and I was still trying to explore my creative endeavors and like things were actually good. I was always working with different industries. Like, oh, I saw myself doing something on the health. I saw myself doing something on the fashion. I saw myself doing something. And I think that's where I was at. Like, I just didn't want to be halted or paused or stopped or like that type of thing. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, it was just a lot. Like, it was a decision I had to like fight for weeks, days after days, dreading, praying, wanting to be sure it was the right decision I made. So one time when something at home got too serious, I saw myself press the send button, and that's how I sent in my letter to quit my job finally. Yeah, I felt like it was time for me to explore my creative side some more. It was time for me to bet on myself and do much for myself, because I also believe that I could do or excel good on my own, because for the longest time I've always been a creative. I've always been working as a creative, and I've asked myself, how much do I put out for my own self? Because I was always putting out too much for people, but I don't do the same for myself. And so I just said to myself, if I'm actually quitting this job, this is room for me, or this is now time for me to actually bet on myself, count on myself, believe in myself, trust myself like my manager and other people around me do, and then create for myself, put out what I want to see in the world, and hope that that is going to actually work out for me. Because if I don't do that, I would always find myself being boxed, and that's not what I want. Do I regret? No. I don't regret quitting my job. Fun fact, I actually love my job to a point where if they call me, I would like to work. But I wouldn't like to be confined. Because once I'm confined, I'm like, oof, I can't breathe. I'm claustrophobic. But yeah, it's actually nothing strong. But yeah, that's basically the reason why I quit my job. And I just felt like it's time for me to explore some more as a creative. It's time for me to create for myself. Do I advise people to quit their job? Quit your job when you think it's necessary, but always quit your job when you have a backup plan. Don't be like me, because I'm currently going through it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Am I though? Anyway, yeah, I don't actually know the best advice to give you. Like, there's this phrase that I always say that so you are in that industry, you are in that business, you are in that corporate space, you are in that creative workplace. You know the hell you're going through. If it's hell that you're going through, nigga, quit that job. Okay? But if where you are working at, nobody's pressuring you, you're not going through any form, don't quit your job because you've seen people quitting their jobs. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't quit your job, because I don't think you deserve to quit your job. Because sometimes, I spilled the tea. No, figuratively, please. Sometimes where you work at, right, it's a good start place for you, because you will learn so much. You will garner so much that would help you when you're establishing something on your own. So stay. That's something I learned. And there's one thing my manager said, and then my old boss, whom I was working for, Aisha Yensu, she said this to me, and she said, you would find your footing. You don't just find it at a go. So sometimes when you're working in some industry, your very first few months, it's going to be shitty. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be weird. But just keep working. Like, just keep going to work. And make sure where you're working is a place you're passionate about. Because once you're not passionate about it, bruh, you will dread your reason for staying there. But if you're passionate about it, regardless of whatever that is happening to you, you would find reasons, and you find solace in going back to work every single day. Like, you find the joy of going back to work. But if it's not a place that you really love, nigga, you're doing your mental health some damage. Yeah. So that would be the best advice I'll tell you. Like, quit your job when you think it's necessary. Quit your job when it's not something you're passionate about, because when there's no passion, it's just pain and affliction. Also, before you quit your job, make sure you've spent enough time with the brand or with the company to know that you are not at your baby stage. you are at your pro stage. What I mean by that is when you're at your baby stage, that's when you're finding your footings, like you're finding a balance at the workplace because it's a new industry for you or it's a new space for you. So you're learning how things run there and things like that. But when you're not in your baby stage and you're like at your pro stage, you've passed like you've worked there like 6 months and you're not seeing value, you're not seeing what that job has to offer you, then I'll say quit the job. On that note, please don't forget. on that note, that brings us to the end of today's video. Yeah, it's actually Sunday, and I'm trying to stay loyal to myself of being consistent to YouTube and trying to upload 2 times every week, which is Mondays and ciao. Hold on, no, I'm trying to say, guys, let's take it again. So it's Sunday, and I'm trying to stay and loyal to myself by being consistent, which is to say that I'm trying to upload 2 times every week, and which is Sundays and Thursdays every week. Okay, so because of that, I didn't have like enough time to put in like my footages for the weekend and to roll it out today. So I just had to find the best way to actually put up the content. And I think this was really necessary for me to put out because when I posted my previous video, which I put a time card here about me quitting my job um and all of that jazz, like the engagement, I love it. You guys are actually blowing up that video, and please, please, please keep blowing it up for me because I should be monetized before the end of the year in Jesus' name. Because, bro, I'm home. I don't have a job. I need you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And also, please do well to suggest some videos for me so I don't go blank. And because I don't want to put out something that you're not interested. I want to put out something that you guys will love and something I also love as well. So please, your suggestions are highly welcome, and I hope you love this video. Bye.